Thank you. I mean, I didn't play the loading screen because I've been getting copyrighted for that music, but I guess it was playing without showing, so I'm getting copyrighted probably anyways. Oh well. That's alright. It is what it is. Give me 1 second here and I'll get it started. I know I'm running a little bit late here. Well, that CPI just released. I mean, I'm not too worried about being in a rush this morning. I love live streaming for you guys on YouTube, but I hate live streaming on YouTube's platform. It is such a pain in my ass. OBS, the latency, the lag. There's so many steps on YouTube, man. Why can they not make it simple like Discord? Just click live and then you're live. Just a pain in my ass. Yeah, I'm aware. Thank you. We're live, but I'm not. I can't get my screen to show, so I'm having difficulty with OBS. OBS is just not willing to show my screen. Dude. I can show you all a black screen since it doesn't want to show anything. I'm clicking on Trading View. Can you please show the window while you're just... You see what streamers have to deal with, man? I think I have to deal with all this shit that makes no sense because technology is stupid. But since we're here, I don't know what noise that is. I would pay attention to the relative equal highs. What is that noise? At 21,390. Here we go. Oh, actually, that's not what I wanted. Or maybe it was. How do I move this? Boom. Should be better now. Or they should be showing what you should be looking at here. When you see a screen. Cool. I think you will. I'm not concerned about the S&T. I mean, it could be a factor. Remember, S&T is just S&T. If there's no framework behind the S&T to actually work, then I don't really have a concern with it. To be honest with you. Yes, I will do the RTH in a second. You can see yesterday we engineered that buy side liquidity here. We eventually took it out. I stated in the last night's daily log video, we're probably going to take it out. That's what I mean by trading before major news event drivers, is you run into conditions like that where price is engineering liquidity and it's hard to trade on those days because you don't know if price is going to take out a certain swing high, swing low, fail to do it like we did yesterday where I was trying to long to take out the relative equal highs, failed to do so, engineered that for today, and then CPI releases and we take that out. So since we closed above this sell side imbalance on the hourly, we're above it, we treat this in an inversion. I would be looking at these relative equal highs as a primary target for today, to be honest with you. I think that would be the easiest look of it. I can't make an argument for price to drop from this point lower. There's no argument there for it. Just because of S&T, that doesn't validate a setup. And even if this thing was to go lower, I would like to clear this buy side before even entertaining that idea. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as looking at price and what I could see. But with CPI, I usually wait at least until a silver bullet to start looking to engage with price or something like that. So we'll see how we look as we get into probably the macro or closer to the silver bullet. I think that would be a better time to engage with price. If you guys haven't already, if you guys can please like the video. I know it's redundant and repetitive, but we got to do it every day. And we'll just take a look at the 1 minute time frame here. And we'll observe some other time frames and just kind of wait. We'll just sit on our hands for a little bit. I'll probably show the hourly imbalance here, visibility wise. And yes, still would be a massive RTH gap underneath us. So another way to utilize RTH is if we have a bullish bias, let's say, for the day. I'm not looking for the complete closure of, let's say, this opening range gap. I wouldn't be looking for that. If I'm looking for the buy side liquidity that's resting at 21,390, then if there's an RTH gap that's beneath me, then I would only be looking for the RTH gap to be filled in, 25, maybe 50% of it, and then see the reaction off of it, much like, seeing price trade into an inefficiency. I only want to see price drop down into this by a little bit, react off of it, then trade higher again. If this starts to fail, or if I don't see a model out of this, and I've done this live plenty of times where on CPI and multiple days that are similar, if you have a large expansion like this, I'm waiting to see the reaction out of this area of interest, really, this large buy side imbalance. So I'm going to be looking for price to drop down into this area, see the reaction away from it, displacement higher, look for some type of PD rate inefficiency, wait for price to retrace into it, then look to trade it higher. I'm not just going to be longing it down here because now my risk is going to be much larger than waiting for the reaction, going on lower time frames, setting up the framework for the trade, reducing the risk, and then longing it. and also protects me from a potential loss. If price just really trades off lower and doesn't give me any sort of, hand that it wants to go higher, then at least I'm protecting myself from it. I'm standing on the idea today of higher still, but that's my framework today. It's looking for 21,390.
Take advantage of the flexibility.
I like the ICT indicator, ICT sessions, one stuff for life space. I gotcha. Yeah, I know there's a bunch out there, man. Just appreciate you guys recommending it. I've become accustomed to what I like, so thank you. If we can get the video to 75 likes, I'll stop asking. Maddie, what's up? I'm doing good, man. Appreciate it. Hope you guys like the new thumbnail. I think it's a little bit better than a lot of previous ones. I want to make something different. What's important too during these major news event drivers is take a look at dollar index, take a look at bonds, yields, foreign exchange. That will help kind of maybe guide some of your decision making on days like this. So dollar index has slid off a little bit lower this week. Even today with CPI, we've slid off a little bit lower. So if dollar index is trading lower, we potentially want to see higher prices out of NQ and ES. Mac, I've been watching in silence, but welcome back. Appreciate it, brother. So we've slid down into about 25% of that opening range gap. So you split that in half. 25% is right about there. I'm in no rush. I mean, I see the reaction. I like what I'm seeing, but I'm still literally waiting for time. I think time's very important today, is waiting for at least the macro or at least silver bullet. I want to see some things settle before I want to engage with it. So what is this formation becoming? What do you mean by that, Sarah? Can you hear something in the background? That's why OBS is just so damn difficult to work with. It's not my music. It's something else that's playing. Anyways. I muted everything, so I don't know. But yes, this is a bullish breaker there on your 1 minute. And if you want, you can particularly just mark up this up close candle here. Again, I'm really just waiting for time. The price moves without me, then it kind of says what it is. Well, now I'm curious. I'm gonna put something else on. Let me know if you hear that. I don't even know how it's possible. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. The reason I'm not really trying to push along, it could move in here, definitely could, but I just don't feel comfortable at the time. See, Mo, you're thinking with your head there. Thank you. This down close candle is a bullish order block there, so this may respect it. send price higher in here. What I'll be watching for is possible S&T. I'm just super weary of moves off the open like this, especially with CPI. But at the very least today, I'm aiming at 21,390, then 21,433. So ES is making the higher high with it, which is good. This is going to be the second cup of coffee, so we'll see how we feel after this. And these aren't normal cups. If you guys haven't already, if you can like the video, again, I would appreciate it. About to come into the macro, I want to see, we may keep headway and if I get an opportunity, then I might long it. What I'm trying to anticipate, you can see I'm not talking because I'm trying to concentrate on whether or not this inefficiency will be left open as a breakaway, because we're already coming into this bullish breaker here. This is another bullish breaker. You have your high, your low. There's a formation in there, but I want to look at it as mitigation. It may actually be more valid. I would preferably like a drop in that inefficiency than a reaction off of it. So I want to see the reaction inside of it. Only thing is we've taken out this buy side liquidity pool, and if things get weird, this thing drops again. So I'm just trying to be cautious of that idea. It's a good closure. I want to see, honestly, on a 15-second a reaction away from that before I do something. That's why I like a seconds, because if I'm on a 1 minute and I have a 1 minute point of interest, if I see the reaction, I'm going to go into a 15-second and see if I can find something. It's just a bit. Yeah. If I was a little bit more antsy today, I probably would have taken that. But yeah. So that's me like disqualifying a setup in real time that I actually thought was decently valid. But I could see the opposite side of this as well. Again, you're one. I mean, that's just experience of time. I mean, I don't know how else to explain that. It wasn't me. I mean, I did a good job by disqualifying it. Because I could see the idea of where we've taken out this buy side liquidity pool, even though there's no S&P there. How do I put it? I don't like right off the open that going into the silver bullet, we've already traded higher. We've already traded higher and taken out this high. I would have liked to stay underneath this high going into the silver bullet, and I probably would have liked a deeper run in here. So we'll see. Could be a deeper retracement. You can tell I'm being a little bit more quiet today because I'm really, really trying to concentrate. So we've displaced away after dropping lower. We have this bullish order block here. It's so. I think we might see an expansion out of here. So I'm gonna see if this 15-second, I'm not gonna have a whole bunch of risk on, but I want to see if we can really get this expansion. We have about 1 minute till. I would give it underneath this order block here till we close out the hour. So I want to see us kind of really excel into 3090. And I'll show my 15-second entry and what I was really looking at. But pay attention to this inversion here and that order block. Again, I apologize. I made it more emphasized this year that I want to be more quiet when I feel like I'm really willing to engage with price. I want to kind of shut my mouth. So apologies if not entertaining. Inefficiency here. We want to see this respected. I can reduce my stop. Why 3090? Relative equal highs. These are relatively equal. You can aim at really the first high, which is 372, but these are relatively equal, so 390 is the high that's closer in proximity there. Again, first thing I did in the session, where am I going? Where am I aiming at? You have to have some type of GPS, some type of roadmap, some type of idea as far as what are you trading? Why are you trading to that? Otherwise, you're just taking a model with no logic. If you want to get some standard deviations for projections, look at this previous breaker that we used. For some projections, or even if you want to go out to a little bit higher than this here. So this inefficiency either needs to stay open before 390, or it can run into it and set it into 3090. We did tag this high at 373, but I believe 3090 could be on the table. It's a good question, Trump Manias, because I mean, anytime you look at highs that are relatively equal to each other, I mean, that just sticks out. You want to pick the high that's higher than the one that's. I mean, if these are relatively equal, I want to pick the one that's a little bit higher. I think you'll gain with experience that. So we're not out of the water just yet. We have a bullish order block here. So we're inside this inefficiency. This up close candle to your left would be a mitigation. JH, I see you. Yeah, I mean, if it's freezing, man, it's the least of my concerns currently. I want to see this reaction since we've dropped down in this bullish order block into this inefficiency and the mitigation. See a reaction pretty quickly higher out of this. I mean, I see it, the condition is poor. I mean, it's just YouTube, man. I literally can't with YouTube. It's some of the worst streaming services ever. So there's one taken off, and I want to see if we have energy to maybe make it to a little bit higher level today. If not, I just cancel the whole thing. And I'm content with it. I'll just move the stops with price as we move here. So it would be underneath this low here. But hopefully you've seen that we've worked away from this mitigation block, this inefficiency here. Even looking at the 5-minute, we worked away from this down close candle, which is your bullish order block, and we expanded into 3090. So we'll see today. I have one more agenda on the board today, and we'll see if it wants to get there or not, but possibly 21,448, possibly. If not, then that might be it for today. Can you guys hear me fine, or am I lagging, or what? I don't see the chat moving here. That's good. Okay. Okay, that's what's on my mind today. If possibly we could get to 21,448. And if I really want to be a savage, I might pyramid into this. So we'll see how much I really want to do that or not. This down close candle preferably would need to be respected here. Does taking out partials ever mess with the RR? I mean, it can, but I don't really pay attention to RR as much, to be honest with you. I mean, partials are very personable to me. I've always been a fan of them. I mean, if you can increase your win rate, then RR really doesn't matter. I mean, it can, but I think a lot of times too, if you're very static about profit taking, you can also miss out on a partial where you take a partial, price never runs to your full target, but you're still able to profit. So, you know, you could look at the flip side of an RR and be like, well, you know, I took out a partial and then price came back to break even. Well, there's also times where you take out a partial and price never reaches your full target. So there's a lot of different scenarios of that. Man, the amount of times I see comments about SMT, I think so many people place so much emphasis on SMT. It's overload. Let's overload the amount of emphasis a lot of you place SMT. I mean, I use SMT every single day, yes, but the amount of emphasis that y'all put on it is way too much, man. What is the narrative? What is price trying to reach for? What is its destination? If you could figure that out, then ignore everything else. If it doesn't align with it, then, like we were talking about at the very beginning, people were like, well, there's SMT with ES. Why am I targeting 3090? Because that's what I'm believing price is seeking. That's its main driving factor. If that SMT doesn't align, I disregard it. It's like number 5 on priority list. You'll have to stop placing so much emphasis on it, because that's just going to screw with you. Find your bias, find what you're looking for, and if your SMT confirms it, then trade it. Then use it. A nice reaction off this bull shoulder block here. And see, like, paper trader, JH, Will, I mean, y'all have been with me, so you know exactly what I think and how I think. Yes, these are poker chips. So if we start failing in here, I might collapse the position. Because we've already reached my terminus, I've reached my destination, and if it's not willing to give life to even higher prices than what I'm looking for, then I'm done. But even looking at the 15-minute, I still do believe that this is, I don't see this reversing. A lot of times when price is spooling like this in very large ranges, jump out to your 5-minute, your 15-minute to give you a little bit more security, and you don't have to FOMO and have a lot of emotions. When you're looking at this 1 minute, a lot of things could be happening. If you guys haven't already, if you can like the video, I would appreciate it. Will, thank you. And this is what I meant by the weekly forecast. If you just sit and trust that idea of like, price is going to be very manipulated Monday and Tuesday. Once CPI rolls out, cleaner, better price action will unfold. And so far, even just this session, this has been night and day between what I've seen yesterday and today, or yesterday and Monday. Would you agree with that, or am I think most people would agree that so far I'm already seeing way better delivery in price. It's not as fidgety, it's not as manipulated, the runs are cleaner, it's easier to see, it's one directional, it's not high resistance really. I mean, here so far a little bit, but so far it's been quite easy. And that's because of major news event drivers hold price, they engineer it. It makes things a lot more difficult. How do you know that? Well, through time and experience and looking at price and being through certain weeks over and over again. I mean, you see the same pattern. So we'll see if we can reach into 21,448 or not. Okay, yes. Not really growing like we were last year, so I'm curious to see if in a couple weeks where we're going to be at. I may have to collab with some people, or I might have to change something. Or just keep at it, I don't know. Either way, it is what it is. Just some people don't deserve the viewerships they have, but it's just me. We'll see how we trade above 30.90 or whether we just want to really purge that. Honestly, at this point, I might just get a couple thousand of those people. Nikki, I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I know. We saw it last year. I mean, this is only my second week of doing this since I've been back, so I'm not worried. It doesn't take long. Where's this next target at? I need 30.90 up here. Or 448. Right there. I really wanted a pyramid inside of this, but I just don't want to give people stupid ideas. Down close candle here would be your bullish order block. There. Anytime you're trading to a certain destination, you just want to be looking at the freshest, newest inefficiencies and where they're at in respect to order flow and where they should be. Like, if we trade through, and I'm going to put this on here, really this down close candle is your last point of interest if we are going to send price higher. It doesn't have to retrace into that, but if it's going to be the last point of interest, this would be it here. Why? Because if you're looking at your just simple market structure, this is our previous higher low, higher high. Inside of that dealing range, we have an inefficiency that's here, and then lowest down close PD array is this order block. So if we're going to send it to 448 today, then this order block needs to be respected. If we trade through that order block, then we're probably going to fail and trade off lower. So it's the same thing here that I was utilizing is since we've already reacted off of this buy side imbalance and that mitigation block, and we sent it into 30.90, since we made that new high from this higher low to that higher high, where's our next PD array? Well, it's this down close candle, which is that bullish order block. We dropped into it once, expanded away from it, dropped into it again, and then sent it higher. So the reason why I wasn't pulling off of it or collapsing position, because that's the last point of interest. There's no reason to freak out. And same thing here. We're inside of this inefficiency, and we'll see if this is going to support price into 448 and whether we create another PD array bullish, and then we utilize that to send it higher again. If you look at your 5 minute, we drop down into this down close candle there. ES is still following suit. If you look at your 5 minute, your 15 minute, that should give you confidence. I don't know in what world anybody would want to short that right now, and that's the reason why I'm keeping this on for now. I just think it's really, really heavy on the upside. I don't want to be overzealous on the day. I think 448 would be content enough for me. I'm sure this stream is laggy. I have no power over it, dude. Yeah, I'm sure the video is laggy. I mean, I have no power over it. It just is what it is. Well, to there it'd be about 115 handles, so it'd be. Yeah, guys, I mean, I appreciate you letting me know about the lag, but it doesn't help me. I literally can't do anything about it. It's not my internet. That's just simply YouTube's receiving end. JP, alright, man. Sounds good. JH, yeah. I know most people are not fully watching. They're watching their own charts and doing their own thing. So remember, this 1 minute, this Delco's candle will be the last point of interest there. If you haven't already, if we can get this to 100 likes, that'd be cool. JH, that's pretty cool. How's your thaw after the second cup? Fantastic, brother. I got a steel stomach. I drink coffee like I get paid to do it. Members of body, what's up? How are you? See Jizzle. That's a little suspect. So I want to see in here if we are going to give life. It may be very high resistance in terms of amount of time we spend to get out of this area of interest. Igor, yeah, literally emailed him yesterday. TradeAbate still hasn't gotten back to me, so or back to them. I don't know, dude. It's the story of my life is everything's always delayed or long-term patience. It's just used to it. I've emailed that dude every single day. I think he hates me. Yeah, Sarah. Well, I have heard back from them. The issue was I just moved to Florida, so I don't have like a Florida license, and I needed to verify my residency. So the only other way was through my lease agreement. I sent them a lease agreement screenshot, a couple pages of them. They still didn't like that. So then I finally last week just said, screw it, I'm going to send them the entire lease agreement. And if they can't verify that, then I don't know what the hell else to do. Everything else is good, but apparently as far as residency there. But I just sent them the whole lease agreement and said, screw it. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay, but they're just taking forever. Okay, they just need to verify. Yeah, I mean, I sent them my passport. I sent them my Illinois ID. I sent them a bunch of other stuff. I mean, I don't. They require a bunch of stuff. Give me a second. I need to read this in here. Specific reason for that broker. I mean, it's I don't choose the broker. I got my live account through my funded futures, so they just pick TradeAbate. I think people forget that I'm gonna have to make that an emphasize. So we're taking a lot of time in here. I mean, it could just be high resistance. High resistance is sometimes tricky because you have to just watch and see if it's just utilizing a certain media rate over and over again until it finally moves. Much like we did in here, where we spent a lot of time and then finally moved out of it. And it could be the same situation here. So. But if we trade through the mean threshold of this, I'm not going to really like that. Maybe the mean threshold is 1 minute. So we've just stabbed down into the mean threshold of that. We'll see if we get a reaction off of it. And high resistance is sometimes really difficult to manage your emotions wise. That's why if you're in the situation of that, looking at a 15-minute really, and I'm just staring at it. I mean, if you guys have been with me, you guys know that if you're ever in situations like this, I just pay attention to the higher time frame to give you confidence. Really, the higher time frame's like a 15-minute. Yes, XRP to the moon. We're at 290 right now, which is crazy. Maybe that will just retire me. I'll never have to trade again. I'll go through stress. I'm kidding. Even if I was a millionaire, multi-millionaire, I'd still be trading. I love this shit. We'll see in here how this 1 minute closes. If we close beneath the mean threshold, I collapse the position, really. So we'll collapse it there. If we keep heading higher, it kind of is what it is. But I'm happy with the trade. I'm happy with the overall result of it. My normal trades, I use 4 micros. I've been in a drawdown for like 2 weeks now, and I'm only using 2 micros, and sometimes I still lose. Do I keep the 2 micros or use 1 until I get back to break even? It's a good question. I mean, you don't want to reduce your risk so little to the point where it's almost impossible to get yourself out of drawdown. I mean, if you're using 2 micros and that gives you enough wiggle room, to lose, it's still a lot. It depends how much, but if you're using 2 micros and that's still very minimum risk compared to the overall account size, then you should be fine. Just keep using that minimum risk until you can move back to basically baseline risk. Because you want to just keep cutting your risk into the point where you can't even get out of drawdown. I mean, that's not the point either. You want to have enough, minimum risk to move out of drawdown. That may be it for me. I mean, I could sit here and I probably will, just because I know viewership wise people probably pour in after. Well, hopefully you saw the framework towards it. Saw some good things today. Nikki, good to hear that. Think you will? Yeah, no, I think I did a good job too. I'm being really, really conscious this year of being less talkative when I see an environment or I see something that I really want to trade. I really want to chill out on talking. It's very hard for me at times just because I like teaching, I like talking, and at times I almost feel like I have to entertain all the time to keep the stream going. So I'm happy when I saw the opportunity, I saw something I needed to concentrate on, I just didn't talk. Trust me, I don't think I do this obviously consciously streaming wise, but I don't think people understand how difficult this is. Like, trading alone is difficult to be live streaming it as well as something else, man. That's the reason why I like it. It's a challenge. So we drop down into this inefficiency again. Since we traded beneath this down close candle, I'm just not certain as far as where price would want to go from here. It already completed my terminus. It completed where I was looking for price to go to, which was 20,390. Once we completed that, that was really my overall terminus for the day. We could still reach into like 448, 449, but overall, that's as much as I really am willing to give it. JH, have a good day, brother. Hopefully the stream is not lagging. I think it might be. I'm playing music again. So from here, we want to see this inefficiency respected. Since we've made this drop lower, we take out some internal sell side and we displaced higher. This inefficiency, you want to see it respected. Even these couple down close candles, you want to see this respected and ascended into 21,408 and potentially 448. Chat's a lot less talkative today, I see, unless I'm just lagging. Yeah, everybody's locked in. I get it. I get it. I want to do something, and I honestly want to re-enter into the market, but I'm hesitant. I honestly see this as a valid setup in here to send it into 408, but it's hard with live streaming at times. I don't want to do things, and honestly, I'm content with the move. But for demonstration purposes, I do want to see if we can get into this 408 here. The only reason this would fail is because of ES is it's kind of failing in here to gravitate higher, so you'd have to watch it pretty closely. We're still not inside of the macro either. Got about 6 minutes to it. Okay, I'm sorry, my Nightbot hates you. You said let's go. Being so close to 11 a.m., hard to trust continuation for lunch. Yeah, we could also get into the macro and see an expansion, but we'll see what happens here. This down close candle will be your last point of interest, really. So, I was telling you, I have 3,000 viewers. Jeez almighty. I don't know how she keeps up with her chat. Nikki. 2,800. It's ridiculous. I appreciate everybody being in here. Got 132 strong. Are you an ICT charter? Yes, I am. So since we failed to do that and failed to gravitate higher, we'll see what the macro does. I mean, I'm just sitting in here. I've already taken my trade. I know I said it was half jokingly. Anytime I take a trade, I'm basically done. I think that's the most important thing, especially after wins. People get very, very feel good feelings and they want to go back in the market because they feel good and they are greedy. But I don't know. I've never had that issue. I've stated this and I'll state it all the time. I've never really had the issue of, especially after a win, I don't really over trade after that. I'm kind of just content and done. I just want to protect whatever I just got. I don't really want to go through the hassle, the headache of dealing with another trade. Not that I don't even think that was even a bad setup. Even when I just looked at Tanya. Tanya was taking that trade. I don't think that was a terrible setup. Sometimes setups just fail. And people want to look at it and say, well, you know, you suck as a trader. You analyzed it wrong. Like, dude, you have a model, you have a framework, and you take it. And if it fails, that's just part of the probabilities. I mean, I talked about this very in depth last night. I'm sure a lot of people even in her chat will start hating on her. I mean, dude, models are not perfect, and they're never going to be perfect. If you see a model, you have a framework, it looks good in the moment of time, you take it, and you put the risk on, that's what you're supposed to be taking, then you did everything that you have control over. To try to think and say, well, you know, I should have known this, you know, it was going to stop me out, is a weird way of thinking. You didn't know that was going to stop you out. You thought in the moment of time that was the best option you could have possibly have made. Of course, can you learn from it and maybe try not to make that mistake again? Sure, but again, sometimes you just take that loss and you put it into the bucket of, let's say you have a 60% win rate, 40% lose rate. You put that in the bucket of 40%. When I win, I take that win and I put it in the percentage, the 60% bucket. And I say, okay, well that's, you know, inside of that bucket now. And every time I win, or if I take multiple wins in a row, I know I'm getting closer to a loss. I mean, that's just the reality. And every time I take a loss, I know I'm getting closer to a win. Because I'm basing my trading off of statistics and variables and probabilities. I'm not basing it off of just emotions. So I think it's very, very important when all of you are, you know, whether you're taking wins or losses, to constantly check yourself. Say, look, I'm going to put this in this category, and you know, it's not going to freak me out. Even taking a couple losses yesterday, I just said, look, we're going to take that, put it inside of the bucket of losses, and I know that those losses, I'm getting closer to another win. Could I have not have taken those losses? Sure. Probably on another day where maybe I felt a little bit different about the day, or something panned out a little bit differently, I may have not have taken those trades. You have to understand that this game is such a game of probabilities and variables, and you're playing in that constant stream of variables and probabilities all the time. This game is very much a mind fuck of illusions. But if you keep yourself grounded by saying, look, I know that this model and what I've done, and you can't just look at it off of, well, ICT taught this model and it has this percentage win rate. No, you have to look at deeper, look at yourself. What do you have back tested data that you can rely on and say, look, I've done this amount of results for this X amount of months or time, and I can rely on that. That's my backed up data. That's my model, is me. I know, knowing myself through time and experience and what I've done, I can rely on myself, even if I'm losing, to look at that backed up data, reach into my memory bank and be like, look, I've been this successful, I've done these things before, nothing's changed. If I just keep following suit of what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm going to end up profitable. You have to remain grounded. Otherwise, you just get sucked into the illusions of doubt and fear, especially when you're losing, or even when you're winning. of, overconfidence and greed and excitement. If you were a robot, an AI, and you were given the model and the things that you wouldn't be freaking out when you're losing, and you also wouldn't, the AI would not be overly excited or overconfident and greedy when you're winning. It would just be following the mechanics and the instructions that it was given. That's how you should be operating, as much like a robot. You're following instructions. If I was to give you an IKEA couch, you would just look at the instructions and the manual and you would follow it. And if that said, in the instructions, you're going to have to, slam a nail into your finger every now and again. That's probably what you're going to have to end up doing, much like trading, is you're going to take losses that don't feel good. So it's the same thing. We're just following instructions, but people get messed up when they start losing, as they lose their confidence or they start freaking out. And I'm not saying I'm exempt from that. I definitely have. But I'm trying to obviously guide that younger audience that doesn't really understand that just yet. I'm also not saying it's easy to do. It's very difficult. Nikki, good, yeah. And we talked about this yesterday too. If I take a loss and I can, with a sober mind, clear mind, and say, look, today's a good day. I just kind of made a mistake. I've done this plenty of times, and even with people watching, where I made a mistake, I read it wrong, but the environment's still good. Everything's fine. I just have to switch the analysis, or maybe I entered in too early, then I can re-enter into the market. But if you have a really shitty environment day like yesterday and Monday, where I've taken a couple losses or I took a loss in it, and I just don't see the market, actually coming into a good environment, then I completely turn off the charts. There's no reason to go back into the market, because that's, if you look at the days where you lose the most, you blow accounts, you blow funded challenges, whatever it may be, it's only probably in days where it's really shitty price action. It's never days where it's really, really easy classic ICT days where, you have expansions, goes into a fair value gap, keeps going, or sells. It's never like that. It's very choppy, manipulated, seek and destroy. So if you see that happening to you, just cut it off early. That's the days you're most likely to blow everything and throw it all out. ESS, do you believe this will just be a continuation day? Possibly, yes. But I particularly don't care anymore. I'm done with my analysis and I move on to tomorrow. I know some of you are probably looking for that, but at this point, if you took the same trade I took and you did everything you're supposed to, what else do you need? If I took one more trade this week, that'd be a profitable week, and then I move on to the next week. So it's you have to think in simple terms, man. I'm not trying to make $1 million today. I'm trying to just slowly chip away every single week at my goal of growing my account by little, doing the things I have in my control, and that's it. If you think about it, you have to give maximum effort each day of an hour and a half. That's all I give myself, because that's how much I believe that I can honestly focus for a whole day with full clarity. That's the reason why I don't trade PM session, I don't trade lunch, I don't trade any of that, because if I was to do that every single day, I'd be completely burnt out. I give myself from the 9:30 open to about 11 o'clock of full focus, attention on these charts, and after that, that's it. I don't see the point of trying to trade PM session and staring at these charts for 8 hours. There's just no point. I know there's enough opportunity and abundance within this time zone, and I know that an hour and a half, for full focus is very difficult, very difficult. I can maybe do that with really good intention, maybe 4 days out of the week. Of course, I know it's a 5-day week, but most of the time I want to be wrapped up or done by Friday. Some people don't want to hear that. The overly eager, ambitious people, they want to be trading every second of every single day, which How much do you aim to target? I mean, kind of depends, but anywhere between 2 to 6%. If I'm risking right around 2%, I want to be aiming for about 4. If I can get 8% in a week, I mean, that'd be fantastic. But each week delivers and hands me different environments, so it depends. I think it's going to be it for today. I enjoyed today. We're at the end of the silver bullet. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully it was at least a little bit insightful for some of you. And I will do the review tonight over the daily log. And until tomorrow, be safe.